Oh, okay. Sorry for the delay. It's a couple minutes after, and we're just getting ready to start, and now we have quorum. So, there's no bids, right? Okay, good enough.
1 minute till, we're not late.
Okay, we'll call this Board of Works meeting to order. This is regular Board of Works meeting, July 1st, 9 o'clock. Members that are participating are all present in the council, in the board chambers. Nancy, would you please do roll call?
Thank you, everyone, for your patience today. 3 of the Board of Works members are with us in the council chambers, constituting the quorum. Andy Jones.
Present.
Rose Rivera.
Present.
Mike Macklin.
Here.
We do have 2 members that are absent today, Ronnie Davis and Jamie Ersey. Thank you, Board.
Go to a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Could I have a motion to amend the agenda and add 2 items under new business? The first one be Walker Park. Was that the second one? Walker Park Wi-Fi, and the second one being approval of Network Solutions escrow agreement.
So moved.
It's the approval of the escrow agreement as well as an amendment to the prior agreement we approved with Cisco Systems. We're replacing Cisco Systems with D-Log Landon Public Finance.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, good. Motion is second to amend. All those in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Aye with the first one. Aye.
Yeah, hi.
Opposed, same sign. Amendment passes. All those in favor of the amended agenda, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay.
Let's-
Mr. President, I move that we approve the claims and allowance docket in the amount of $8,044,304.47, consisting of 30 pages, as printed on June 25th, 2025 at 11:21 a.m.
Second.
Motion and a second. Oh, there she is.
I can go.
Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning. Erin Coons, Interim Controller. We have our Tolson lease payment on here. It's our second half for the year for $350,000. Sorry, my words aren't wording today. And then we have one to Premium Concrete for Cassopolis Street improvements for $577,234.02. And then you'll see under pre-approved, we added the capital outlay funding in here again. Now the totals are actually being reflected in what's being approved today. Total American Rescue Plan claims is $559,137.15. Any questions?
Questions for Aaron? Thank you, Aaron. All those in favor of accepting, of approving the claim and allowance docket totaling $8,044,304.47 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. A motion to approve the minutes as prepared for the June 17th meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any changes? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Mr. President, I move that we adopt the 2025 Seasonal Employee Resolution 25-R-14.
Second.
Motion and a second.
Morning, Board. Tori Irwin, Public Works. So our utility director has officially retired. Her last day was yesterday. And we have been working with the administration on a way to transfer all of the duties and knowledge that she had. And we would like to bring her back in a temporary position, seasonal, part-time through the end of this year. And that's what this resolution is for.
Transferring money that we have to act on for this or make an appropriation?
No, we've had lots of staffing changes at the utility, and so we're not sure what our ending balances are going to look like in terms of salaries. Tim and I are going to go through, make those calculations probably end of Q3, and then do those adjustments as needed.
Okay.
So basically, if I understand correctly, you have the money for this, is what you're saying?
Yes, we have the money for this, and we will make sure that by the end of the year, all of our accounts are square and have the appropriate money in them.
All righty. Any other questions?
No questions, just it's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get that. Just saying.
You had someone shadowing under you for 10 years.
I didn't need it. I didn't need it. All righty. So then, all those in favor of resolution, create resolution 25-R-14, a resolution creating a seasonal employee position and associated pay grade, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve amendment number 5 to the professional service agreement between the city and Donahue and Associates for the Elkhart wastewater treatment project expansion 2019 project for an additional amount of $20,828, bringing the total contract to $4,455,853.
Second.
Motion and a second.
This is to close out Donahue's contract with all the extra time and effort they had on the project because of all of the extensions that Bowen needed. Also turns out that we had extra SRF money from a previous loan that was applied to this project that we had not remembered we had done at the beginning. So that was so we have the funds to pay for this.
All righty. Other questions for Tori? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the agreements between the city and Baker Tilly for the Oakland Phase C&D 2025 Series Sewage Work Revenue Bonds for the debt issuance and parity report.
Motion and a second.
So this and the next are for Barnes and Thorburg and or Baker Tilly to be our financial advisors and our legal counsel as we get ready to do the bonds through SRF for Oakland C&D. Total will be about 35 to 40 million estimated.
When do you think we'll be doing that? Is that,
Well, we did not qualify in the rankings, but either way, we'll be doing it in Q4. So.
all righty. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the agreement between the city and Barnes and Thornburg for the Oakland Phase C&D 2025 Series Sewage Work Revenue Bonds.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve that we temporarily restrict parking to a maximum of 2 hours, so that we approve a temporary restriction on parking to a maximum of 2 hours in the Buckland lot and remove parking hour restrictions from Tyler Street between South Main Street and South 2nd Street, with both changes to be effective through October 31, 2025.
Second.
Motion and a second. Jeff?
Jeff Schaefer, Engineering. This is a measure to manage parking during the remainder of the Benham project around the post office. So the goal is to allow longer-term parking adjacent to the post office on Tyler Street while keeping the Buckland lot 2 hours. The 2-hour status of the Buckland lot was a little bit fuzzy. It is posted 2 hours, but we wanted to confirm that. We're also going to work with PD on a little better enforcement on that lot.
So downtown employees will be able to use Tyler Street,
Correct.
but not the Buckland, unless they want to move it every 2 hours.
Correct.
Is on-street parking on Main Street still an hour?
I believe in most cases it's marked 3 hours.
It's 3 hours.
Yeah, that was an action that the board took a number of years ago.
Okay, because I know when I was at the chamber, it was extended, I think, for a short time, for a couple hours. You know, it's allowed, because there's more retail downtown now, and restaurants, so
I think you
3
and
is
I
good.
worked on that while you were at the chamber.
Good. Thanks.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Mr. Chair, I move that we terminate the contract with Almac Soda Bear, Inc. for bid number 25-07, 2025 Street Department Resurfacing Curb Ramp Replacement Project.
Second.
Motion and a second. I didn't read this online. Go ahead.
Yeah, not a problem. So bid number 2507 is the 2025 Street Department funded curb ramp project. That's the curb ramp project that follows either the same year or a year behind the repaving and helps the street department with the curb ramps that they're responsible for. Almac Soda Beer was the lowest bid, and they were responsive at the time. They have quickly struggled to keep up with the project. And so we've worked with them and notified them that we intended to terminate the contract because they were far behind schedule and they weren't following our specifications properly. They've been notified of that. There was actually not really much pushback from the staff perspective. I think they potentially realized as well that this just wasn't a project for them. So you'll see the next item here is we want to advertise for a second phase project. So this work will not go undone. We've gotten some work done by Almac, but we're going to move on with another bidding process. We are going to change our qualifications in the bidding process. We will probably go to only using NDOT pre-qualified contractors for curb ramp projects moving forward. So that should,
Sorry, go ahead.
no problem. That should resolve this issue.
Is that going to cut out small concrete people who could maybe do the job?
The local companies that are qualified are now all NDOT pre-qualified.
I think that's good enough. What's the status of the work that they started?
The work that they finished is in compliance. They did have to do some replacements, and Mark can answer some additional questions, but I mean, we did get some work done, but they're easily 2 months behind.
Okay, and they'll be paid for the work they got done?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. I don't know if I like that, but okay. Other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of terminating contract with Almac Soda Beer signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Could I get a motion to approve the bid documents, grant permission to advertise bid number 25-17, the 2025 Street Department Resurfacing Curb Ramp Project Phase 2?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second.
Mark Lucas, Public Works.
Hold the microphone up close to your mouth.
Yeah, as Jeff said, this is just a continuation of what was left from the previous contract that was terminated.
Are you confident that there'll be enough time for this
We
contract?
intend to keep this open, PO, the funds, and keep it open till next spring, just
Okay.
in case we needed extra time for it.
All righty, other questions for Mark? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Mr. Chair, I move that we ratify partial payment request number 4 in the amount of $1,579,879 to Selge Construction from SRF Loan WW241820006 for construction on the Oakland Project B Oakland CSO Tank Project.
Second.
This is a standard payment for progress to date.
Yes, that's correct.
Righty. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Mr. Chair, I move that we find McDowell, for discussion purposes, that we find McDowell Enterprises in violation of its industrial wastewater discharge permit and assign penalties in the amount of $250 for permit 85-01.
Second.
Before you start, Steve, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Should have mentioned before we start, anyone who is online and is given the opportunity to speak at the board has to be visible. That's a city and board policy. So we normally start the meeting saying that, but someone was laxed in his responsibilities. Steve, we have a violation by McDowell Enterprises?
Yes, good morning, Board. Steve Brown, Public Works. McDowell Enterprises, they submitted their self-monitoring report was due May 25th, but it was received on May 30th, making it 5 days late. Also want to let the board know that it's important to note that the 25th fell on a Sunday, and also we had a holiday on the 26th, and offices were opened back up on the 27th. In McDowell's response to this notice of violation, she did state that the delay was due to her being out of town, and she also wants the board to note that no harmful impact was occurred to the environment.
Thank you, Steve. Questions for Steve? Being none, is any representative from McDowell Enterprises here or online that wish to address the board? Gone. All right, then. All those in favor of finding McDowell Enterprises in violation, assessing a penalty of $250, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Oh, quick question, Steve, that's the penalty proposed in our normal matrix for penalties and
Yes, sir.
violations?
Enforcement response plan, yep.
Enforcement response plan. Okay, thank you. Go ahead. Oops, wait. We have a motion to find Welch Packaging in violation of their industrial discharge permit and assign penalties of $250. Permit number 2017-02.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Steve?
This one is just like the previous, but in this case, they were 3 days late, holiday, and also the 25th fell on a Sunday. Our offices didn't open back up until the 27th. In Welch Packaging's response, they had some unforeseen delays with their contract lab that also contribute to the report being late.
Me remember they have 30 days after the last day of the month that they collect a sample.
No, so if an industry collects a sample, say during the month of May. It doesn't matter what day of that month. It could be the 1st, the 15th, or the 30th. The self-monitoring report is due by the 25th of the following month.
Okay.
So we always try to encourage our industries to monitor early in the monitoring period to hopefully avoid any delays or instances.
So both of these industries took their samples in April, which means they had over 30 days to, at least 25 days,
Yes, yes.
27 or 24 with the holiday. Okay, is there a chance that this is a problem with the labs not responding quick enough?
Yeah, labs can cause an issue with the delays and with the analysis. So that's why we try to encourage that they monitor early. So.
Thank you. Other questions for Steve?
Yeah, Steve, are they submitting this report electronically or does it come via the post?
It's still, self-monitoring reports need to be hand-delivered. We need the wet ink signature. We're in the process of moving towards electronic submission, which will help eliminate these.
So it wasn't mailed, whereby a postmark would be observed as being on time if it were dated, like, I think we just changed that, right?
That's correct. Yep.
Right.
You're right. So this one was hand-delivered, and it was just received 3 days late. It wasn't postmarked.
Okay, thanks.
There, anyone from Welch Packaging here or online that wishes to speak? Going, gone. All righty. Anything else for Steve? Steve, any other insights?
No, sir.
All those in favor of finding Welch Packaging in violation of their permit and assessing a penalty of $250, permit number 2017-02, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Chair, for discussion purposes, I move that we find Bimbo Bakeries in violation of its industrial wastewater discharge permit and assign penalties in the amount of $250 for permit number 2006-03.
Second.
Motion and a second. Steve?
Just like the other two, this one was 4 days late. Bimbo's response to the notice of violation was they had some confusion about the submission deadline. There was a new point of contact that came on board, and he had some confusion with the submission deadline. But also the holiday and 25th falling on Sunday, if the board would like to consider that as well.
Questions? Steve? No. Anyone from Bimbo Bakery, online or in person, wish to address the board? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Why? If it isn't Miss Maggie.
Yeah.
You can proceed with the motion, then I'd like to kind of give the board some information as the board's attorney.
Did you say after or before?
You can go ahead.
Okay,
Hard to know what the request is here.
yeah.
Okay, let me go ahead and speak
Yeah.
first. Okay. Just to kind of lay some groundwork for the board, as far as union grievances, this board does not have jurisdiction to hear firefighters' union grievances. Those go to the Board of Safety. But the Board of Safety doesn't have jurisdiction to hear appeals regarding eligibility or ineligibility for health care coverage. That's why this has been bumped over to this board because this board made the determination on eligibility and ineligibility of spouses. So that's why you are hearing it. I wanted to lay that out. This is not a contract dispute. This is 2 appeals based on denial of coverage because of ineligibility. And the determination that the board made in 2011 regarding eligibility of spouses to be on the city's health care coverage. Typically, the appellant would be here representing themselves. This is an employee issue, not a union issue. I believe that they are being represented today by their union representative, which that's quite frankly at the board's discretion.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
If you have any other questions regarding, the
Hang
kind
in
of
here
thing.
just a minute, okay?
Yes.
A couple notes for the board. We usually have a special board meeting for grievances.
Normally, we just put them at the end of the agenda for you guys.
I believe, Wayne, I have a question for Wayne. Did you request that this would be reset for an actual hearing? Yeah, that's,
Well, yeah, but we're not going to hear it now, is what I'm trying to say. Okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah. So there is a dispute regarding, it's not a true grievance, it's really actually more of an appeal.
okay. This is on a grievance form.
Yeah, it was originally filed with the Board of Safety.
Understand, thank you. Is there a time limit on the board hearing and taking action? There isn't like 30 days or it's denied?
Not that I know of. This is,
Oh, okay. New contracts, old Mike.
this is not a contract dispute.
Right,
Okay.
okay. I got it. So the contract wouldn't govern here.
Correct, correct.
Okay.
The contract just says eligible spouses. This board determined who fits that category,
Okay,
okay?
good enough.
I believe the firefighters president
Okay,
would like to speak before the board makes any decisions.
so what I'm proposing that we do is assign these to be heard at the next board meeting, which is our pretty much standard protocol. But if you wish to address the board on something other than the details of this, because that would be at the grievance hearing would be the appropriate time for that. But if you want to address the board real quick, we're always open to hear people.
Mr. President, the next item on the agenda is his item, the request for interim relief pending the grievance hearing after it's set.
Okay,
So,
well, let's just talk about them both at the same time. Welcome. Thanks for coming today.
Hi, thank you, Board. Corey Brewer, President.
I'm sorry, Corey?
Corey, yes, sir. Brewer,
Thank you.
President of the Firefighters Union, Local 338. No, we just appreciate being able to have the grievance hearing set for July 15th, whenever you guys make that motion. And then, do you have any questions on the request for interim relief?
I haven't actually gone through this all, so.
Okay, I can discuss it if you'd like.
Got it. Thank you.
Can you let us know what you're asking for?
Yeah, so the covered individuals, the spouses, are being removed or plan to be removed from the insurance as of today. So I was filing a request such that they would not be removed from the health insurance plan until this grievance hearing is resolved.
Question.
Yes,
Does the spouse have coverage at a new job currently? The option for coverage at the new job?
Yes, they do have an option for coverage at their other employer, at their employer.
Which they're obligated to use because of the spousal carve-out with the city's insurance, right?
Yes, per the rule from 2011, yes, sir.
Okay. Why wouldn't she go on that new insurance effective today?
So each of the spouses, each of the firefighters' families kind of have a different circumstance. So I'll try not to get into it too much. Just stop me if I do. But so for one of the firefighters, it would pertain to there was a form uploaded with open enrollment, and that would essentially, in our claim, qualify that spouse as being eligible to be on the city's health insurance. The other firefighter's context is that they were granted an exception back in the fall of 2016, even though their spouse worked full-time at that time. They were granted an exception based on financial hardship, and they've carried that spouse on the city's health insurance for 8 continuous years. And now the problem is that in the middle of the year, removing them from the health insurance plan they're currently on would mean that they have to re-meet their deductibles and their maximum out-of-pocket. So they suffer a large financial harm by being removed in the middle of the year and starting a brand new plan. So the claim is that they were eligible at the time of open enrollment based on those 2 reasons for each individual firefighter, and then that they would just maintain insurance throughout the year based on that.
Wayne, would you like to speak?
Wayne Belak, Director of Human Resources. Couple things. Number one, in order to grant the temporary relief, you'd essentially be deciding the merits of the whole issue. Secondly, this is broader than just these people. If you decide that people are eligible for coverage contrary to what the board authorized in 2011, you are opening the door to this for the entire city.
I think what
Yeah.
we understand that, and that's
Right.
certainly part of the grievance. I think, if I can speak for the board here, I think we'd like to know about delaying the implementation until the grievance hearing is over.
Well, there wouldn't be any authority to do that based on the definition of eligibility of coverage. Individual employees who may have been incorrectly told by someone that they could be covered because of a financial hardship when that's contrary to what the board authorized is basically contrary to law, because you have defined what the legal standard is for eligibility. So just like Chief Millen and I can't say the speed limit, even though it's 25 on Main Street, but I say you can go 50, whoever was in benefits at the time can't just unilaterally decide coverage eligibility because somebody may be on hard financial times. So it would be void for you to be able to do that in this case or in any case.
Yeah, well, this was the first time I ever heard where there was any circumstance whereby there was any reason why a spouse who was offered their own insurance could remain on the cities. This is the first I've heard of that.
Okay, there are more. And I think that's going to come up during the grievance hearing itself. What I'm trying to walk the line on
Right.
is I don't want to open this up to a grievance hearing at this time.
Okay.
What I'm mostly interested in is
Just to kind of reiterate, the notice went out to a number of employees regarding their spouses who had been on. And by granting the interim relief to these two, how can you not grant it to everyone? And plus, I guess that is and I would like to point out, when you lose coverage and you have an employer, that's a qualifying event. Okay? I don't know how else to put it. That is a qualifying event.
For anybody in the audience that doesn't understand, that means that a qualifying event is a life change event related to insurances, and they open up your insurance. You don't have to wait until the annual renewal date when there's a life-changing event, for want of better terms, which Maggie calls and it is probably legally correct, a qualifying event. Okay, Maggie, thank you very much. Corey, you wanted to say something else here?
Just in terms to whether or not it would apply to the remainder of the city, I would say that these are the only two people that have filed the appeal, and it's based on their specific circumstance that they filed it. That doesn't necessarily apply to the remainder of the spouses who are being removed.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Corey or the legal team? Seeing none, what I would like to do is go through these one at a time. First of all, let's have a motion to set.
Can I throw a wrench in?
Sure.
And maybe I'm going to ask the opinion of my other legal counsel here in the room, but I believe at this point that I am unable to participate in a decision because of my relationship to the attorney representing HR at this point. Does anyone disagree with me? Yes, I think so. I don't think that I can participate in a decision because
In the vote.
Yeah, because technically.
Conflict of interest.
Yeah. So I think we don't have a quorum at this point. Well, are we, I think we're trying to vote.
Okay, yes, all right. Understand that. You're agreeing, I see, right? Okay. Rose cannot vote on this. So, and I can do the setting of the dates by agenda. I don't need board approval. And that also means, unfortunately, that we can't take any action on the request for relief because we don't have a quorum able to vote on that. With all of that said, these actions have to be left undone on the agenda, and we can then move forward. Am I looking at that right, city engineer, assistant city engineer?
Without a quorum, you can't take action on the request for the interim relief. As far as setting the hearing, as you stated, you can do that without a board vote. So, yes.
Okay, and then the action would be, it's not even tabled, I guess it's just no action taken.
Yeah, it would, right, because you can't vote on tabling it.
Right, okay. All right, with all of that said, do you all understand what happened? Okay, I'm sorry. This issue is being passed at this time with no actions taken. By my authority as the board president, who technically controls the agenda, would assure you that at the very end of the next board meeting, we will have the grievance hearing, which is July 15th. And I can do that without board participation, just setting an agenda item. Okay. Oh, this should have been Corey. Board, I'd suggest that you pull out these items and review them.
Mr. President, would you like to notify both parties that you, your requirements to have exhibits exchanged 1 week prior?
Oh, yeah, I like that idea.
That's your normal
That's-
policy.
Okay. And would you also send our agenda to Corey? So he'll know we have just a little somewhat formal
Yeah.
process that we follow.
Yeah, the hearing
Okay.
process, sure. And it's written on there as well.
All righty.
Okay.
Perfect.
So you exchange your exhibits 1 week prior to
For
July 15th?
clarification, usually you have to have the packet in by Thursday. With the holiday and everything coming up, that's a little tighter schedule. So don't you normally have your packet ready for Thursday for the following Tuesday?
Right, but
Yeah, I know,
yeah,
right.
holidays this week.
I
So
know.
next
I'm
week,
thinking of some other things that are going on.
yeah, if you
So,
could get those to me on Tuesday, your
there a
your
reason, I
exhibits on
guess?
Tuesday, because that's the board policy,
Oh,
that
a week
exhibits are
prior?
exchanged a week prior.
Okay.
So that'd be
I thought we did it
Tuesday.
on Thursday other times, but that's fine.
That's
I do packets on Thursday.
board packets. This is separate from that a little bit.
Oh,
Okay. Moving on. Oh, this is still the same, boy. It's a bunch. Memo in opposition from HR. Okay. Are we clear up to? We went with Baker Tilly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve and authorize the interim city controller to execute and sign the agreement with Baker Tilly Advisory Group.
Second.
Motion and a second. Aaron, what are we doing?
This is just to engage Baker Tilly to help us with a lot of stuff. It's a large scope here, but it's to cover a lot of things that we may not even use. Since Jamie's no longer here, it'll help me with budget items and then the administration with a capital plan, and then helping analyze the legislative impact that for items that just passed. So a lot of fun stuff.
Thank you. Questions for Aaron? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving this agreement with Baker Tilly signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Motion carries.
I'm sorry, I missed that motion. Who made the original motion? I didn't catch a motion. I thought she started talking right away. So
Good.
why don't we go back
Okay.
up and make sure we have a motion?
Rose, give us a motion.
Okay. That was me, actually. Was that?
Okay.
Now I remember. It was me.
Okay, good, thank you.
All right.
Rose Andy, 3-0, got it.
It's taxing my Robert's Rules of Order to the extreme today.
That was my fault, sorry.
Communication, I think this is a communication. Okay, thank you. Yes, can we accept, I move that we accept the communication from Corporation Counsel John Esper regarding the new Indiana Code 5-14-9 regarding the requirements to list appointed members and their terms on all agendas and minutes and the website.
That was a motion?
I know, I second. I was just looking at John's signature.
Okay. We had one of those things at the store where you have to use your fat finger on the little screen to sign down. All those in favor of accepting this communication, place it on file, signify by, and implementing items, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I move that we, which one are we doing, the Walker Park first or the?
Yeah, let's do Walker Park.
Okay. I move that we approved the Walker Park Comcast Network project I would contingent on approval by legal.
Second?
And can we also delegate authority to sign to Mr. Hopkins?
Okay, another second.
Yeah.
All right, this is all for Walker Park Comcast number. Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the Network Solutions escrow agreement and the amended lease purchase agreement substituting DeLog Land and Public Finance for Cisco Systems Capital Corporation.
Second?
So are we done with Cisco yet? Isn't this like the 20th time we've dealt with Cisco?
Yes.
They're more complicated than their software.
David Hopkins, network admin for the city of Elkhart. It's been kind of a rocky road trying to get this paperwork and legislation in front of the board and getting it in front of you guys multiple times. Cisco's really been working with us on this.
Okay, since it's a good deal. All righty, thank you. Other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Public participation. Again, we will take comments from people in the chamber, start with, and then we'll go online if you wish to address. If you wish to opine, please keep it pithy. And you have to be visible online. Yes, sir, Mr. Torrey?
Hi, Board. The utility has been busy over the last month with selecting and hiring new candidates. So I have a number of introductions to do, probably the most I think we've ever done at a board meeting. So we'll start with Jordan Hines, our new plant manager.
It's nice to meet you all. I've had the
Welcome.
opportunity of working. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. All right. It's my first time.
Sorry, a little bit about you, what you're going to be doing. You're the new,
I am the plant manager
Okay.
over wastewater and water. Originally from Michigan City. Be stepping into half the role that Laura Colo left behind. And as I'm learning, that's quite a significant task. So, I look forward to working with the team, which I've had the opportunity to do for, the last week or so. It's an impressive bunch, to say the least. It's definitely a challenge that I'm looking forward to meeting, and it's nice to meet all of you here today.
welcome aboard. Glad you joined us.
Thank you.
And next up, we have Leon Jones, our new engineering technician. Leon, you want to come up and introduce yourself? Sign in first, yes, otherwise Nancy will.
I'd like to say she gets nicer over time, but
all right, I'm Leon Jones. I come up here from the city of Indianapolis, and I was at one of these board meetings last week for the city of Indianapolis, so I know how you all work. And my experience, I am an engineer by trade. I'd come here, be part of the team as an inspector. Very good people here. It's a challenge coming back and forth right now.
Oh, my.
But that's okay. Well, you have to sacrifice sometimes. And I'm a military veteran. I was a CB in the United States Navy, and I'm just happy to be part of this team. And I want to be able to utilize my knowledge to help carry public works forward.
Well, you just let us know if Tori's doing anything wrong, okay? Thank you for coming. Thank you for your service.
You're welcome. sir.
Appreciate you being on board.
And next up, we have Jessica Kaufman. She is our newest cashier and started yesterday.
Hello, nice to meet you guys. I'm Jessica Kaufman. I'm super excited to join the City of Elkhart, the Public Works team. So I've lived here pretty much my whole life, except for a couple years in Chicago when I went to school. But I've got 27 years of customer service experience at Volcanoes, and just finished I'd say I was 2.5, 3 years with the school, the Elkhart Public Schools and the food service department. So yeah, I spent a lot of time meeting a lot of new people and meeting a lot of new people now. So yeah, I'm very excited, and I hope I do a good job working for Tori.
Welcome. Appreciate it. I do feel sorry for you because isn't Tim your supervisor?
I liked him. He worked at Volcanoes too.
I was
so-
going to say, he's a
Yep.
Volcanoes guy
Yes, so
too.
it's nice to have familiar faces in a new environment. So yeah, I'm very excited to be here, and thank you guys.
Welcome very much.
And finally on the list is Ricardo Salas, Ricky Salas, our new credit coordinator in the billing office, and that will round things out.
All right. Well, good morning, council. Thank you for
Board.
having me here.
Board. We're the board.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's
I don't want to be called a
interesting. But yeah, just a little nervous. Sorry. No, but I was gonna say I'm a recent grad. I'm 21 years old, so fresh out of college. I'm originally from Venezuela. I've been in the U.S. for about 9 years. About to be 9 years in 2 weeks. So it's been a road. But yeah, new credit coordinator with Public Works. Excited to start working, getting some knowledge, and bringing a fresh mind to long business. But yeah.
Ori, credit coordinator, is that what Lynette did, what Karen?
Karen used to, yes.
Okay.
Yep. So we're excited to have all these new team members on board, and please feel free to stop by and say hi.
Okay.
Thanks.
Anyone else wish to address the Board of Works?
Hello, board. Corey again. I have a request. I was thinking about the conflict of interest, and if the board would be willing to return to the agenda, if Local 338 could waive any objection to the conflict, just so that you can have a ruling. Not a.
Nope.
Okay.
It's not legal.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Appreciate that. I
Yes, sir.
appreciate that. That's a good thought. But-
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone online wish to address the board? None.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
And we're adjourned.